All right, folks, welcome to my workshop, which is one corner of my garage. And so I've made a couple videos, not many, and my disclaimer, I'm not a luthier, all right? I don't build guitars or banjos. I don't really know that much about them. But what I do know is I enjoy playing music, I enjoy playing the banjo, and I enjoy playing the guitar. And I just enjoy the beauty of the instruments themselves, and honestly, talented people just amaze me. But also, it's real expensive to work on them, I've found. So you might have found that out too. And instruments are expensive, and new instruments especially. But nice instruments don't have to be new, and I found that out over about the last 3.5 years of playing banjo. I went through quite a few, and the best ones I found were ones I found really cheap. And they weren't cheap instruments, I just found them cheap because they weren't in great shape. They hadn't been taken care of. And but a lot of times that's just cleaning it up, putting in the time and the energy, the elbow grease just to cleaning one up. And you got a great instrument. But also, people are afraid to do that. I was scared the first time I took a banjo apart. I was terrified. What if I mess this thing up? I spent a couple $100 on it. I'm scared to death. But I didn't, and it turned out great. And then I started seeing guitars pretty cheap on Facebook Marketplace, and I bought a couple, and really they were just mostly cleanup jobs. A couple of them had high action. I can't reset a neck, but I can take out a bridge and sand it down a little bit. I can watch a video and learn how to adjust the truss rod just a little bit to kind of, get the bow a little bit. But also, a lot of people think that their instrument's not worth anything just because it's dirty, and that's not the case. So what I've got right here is a Washburn WD-20S, a solid top guitar with good Grover tuners on it. All right, there's no frills, just a plain guitar. It's not even a gloss finish, it's matte, but it needs to have the frets cleaned on it before we put the strings on it. So I don't know how well you'll be able to see. I'll try to show it to you, but you can see these are not, they're not nice and shiny, the way that you want them to look. We want our instruments to look nice. That's the most important. It's not the most important thing. Sound is the most important thing. But, we want them to look nice. We don't mind if they look used, played. But we don't want them to look neglected. And that's a big difference. So what I'm doing here, because I am putting tape on the fretboard between the frets. All right. Because I'm going to clean the frets on here. And I probably should have done more of this before I turn this on, but like I said, I'm not making these videos as instructional because I've never been taught how to do this stuff. But really, it's just about showing people that you can do it yourself. And I'm on a lot of different Facebook groups for banjos and different things like that. And the questions that I see a lot, some of them honestly just drive me nuts. Over and over and over again. People asking what kind of strings, or how do you change strings, or how do I, raise or lower the action on a banjo, which is really pretty simple to do. And I'm like, just do it. You're not going to tear up the instrument. There's very little something like that you can do that can't be repaired. Guitar, maybe that's a different story. It's a bit more fragile. Maybe a little harder just to put together. Banjos are pretty much screwed together with nuts and bolts. All right, so I'm just about done here. I'm taping them because I don't want to mess up the fretboard. And that was something that I just didn't want to. I figured it's probably a good thing to do. And I'd seen it done with one guy on YouTube, because that's where we learn to do things now, right? We don't learn to do them anywhere else. YouTube is, become our teachers. And I am a teacher by profession, actually. So maybe that's part of the reasons why I like to make videos when I do things. And most of the time, these are videos of things that, I'm not really an expert on. Ask me something about American history, maybe. But fixing a banjo, fixing a guitar, I don't know. So one I bought a couple weeks ago, and I bought it off of Facebook Marketplace. It's just a cool story, I guess. If you're looking for a cool hobby that actually might make a little bit of money instead of spending a little money or a lot of money, as most hobbies do, I bought it on Marketplace for $40. That's right, 40 bucks. The guy had it for sale for 80. It was a nasty, sticky mess. But I looked at it and I looked it over. Nothing looked bent, nothing looked warped, nothing looked out of place. So I asked him, would you take 40 for it? And he was like, yeah, I'll take 40 for it. And I was like, cool, I'll give you 40 bucks for it. And a couple hours later, we had it completely cleaned up, polished up, oiled up the fretboard with lemon oil, all right? And we listed that thing for $180 and sold it in an hour. That was a pretty nice turnaround, right? Just for an instrument that we only had, I say we, it's my daughter and I do this as a kind of a pet project. All right, so, you know, we had 50 bucks in the thing total when you figure the strings and you know, a little bit of oil and stuff. And we sold it for, you can get 180, but I did sell it for 160. I was really happy about that. So there you go. So this is what I use, just plain steel wool. It's not the soapy kind. I don't want to put any other chemicals on the guitar, on the fretboard. Rosewood fretboard. I think that's the most common. But also, you just don't want to mess up the finish and the stains and different things like that. So you have to be careful not to use any chemicals. I had on the banjo I was cleaning up, because it was a mess, a lot of metal parts. I was using a rust remover, and also on the tuning keys. I had to use a rust remover on the Gold Grover tuning keys on that guitar because they were green. But you know, here we go. So this is what I do. I just take and I just plain steel wool, right? And you can see now why I put the tape down, because I don't want to mess up that fretboard, because this steel will eat it up. So let's see if we can find us a good one. All right, see how it looks like. All right, so there's one we just cleaned up. Can you see that one right there? Can you see that spot? Right, my finger right there. We go. All right, let's see what we do. It's not going to take much, I promise. I hope. If not, I just won't upload this video. And I'll be the only one that knows it didn't work, right? And so, the thing is, we all need hobbies, we all need things to do, right? Occupy our time. And especially right now, I mean, holy smokes, we're in the middle of a worldwide shutdown, right, with this virus. All right, here we go. Let's see, I did mess up a little bit. So, and you see, let me find my finger right there. Got it pretty good, smooth. I can actually tell the difference with my finger along the other ones, the difference. So what's gonna be nice is that's gonna be smooth. Not only that, they're gonna be smooth, and they're going to be really, really shiny when we're done, all right? So, listen, go find you a guitar. You know, get a good one. You don't have to buy a cheap guitar that doesn't, you know, play good. There's a lot of cheap, what I've found anyway, if you're looking to get an instrument, people, you know, these beginner models, because they're cheap, they're also difficult to play. They don't sound great. Then when you go start playing with other people, they've all got nice instruments. They're not out there playing all Martins and Gibsons and big expensive things like that, you know, custom pieces, but they're nicer instruments. And my first banjo was a cheap starter banjo, and I didn't have it 3 months before I was ready to upgrade. So if you do get ready to go buy an instrument, if I can give you any advice at all, do your research and skip the entry-level beginner models. They're not made with real wood. They're not made with great materials, and they're just not good instruments. And, you know, and a lot of it's your self-esteem too. You'll start playing with other people, and you want your instrument, you want to be proud of your instrument as much as you are proud of the time that you put in learning how to play it. So I'm going to keep doing this right here. It's going to take me however long it does, and then we're going to string this up, see what the action looks like, and then we're going to play it. and maybe we'll sell it. So this is the most I've ever spent for a fixer-upper. I paid $100 for this one. The two guitars that I have sold, I paid $45 for one and $40 for another one. The $45 was an electric guitar, and we sold it for $150. So, you know, it's a nice hobby that might make a little bit of money. So pretty much I put it right back into instruments. But listen, we're at 10.5 minutes, and if you watch this, good for you. Just remember, don't take anything else away from my rambling. You can do it yourself. Don't pay other people to do the easy stuff. All right? And it's fun. See ya.